my dear students. How are you? I hope all are you good. Welcome back to another class. Today, let me start English chapter number 11. Everything for the best. In ancient times, there was a rich and powerful king who ruled over a vast kingdom. Pratap Singh was his advisor as well as close friend. Karma lords brought daily wealth into this capital, and his kingdom was well administered by his ministers under the guidance of Pratap Singh. The only irritation the king sometimes suffered was to see the ills of famine, epidemic, and wars, which men seemed unable to avoid. He could not reconcile this with Pratap Singh's often repeated belief that everything's for the best. When challenged, the minister would reply that such burdens a noble man's nature and teaching wisdom, so bringing mankind slowly towards perfection. The man was optimistic to the core, and no hardship in life had any discouraging effect on him because he would always look at the positive side of the worst adversity. He would think of the benefits that could be derived from adversities. In fact, this particular trait was so prominent in him that others around him very often got tired of his oft repeated belief. Okay, so one day the king and Pratap Singh went out riding on a hunting expedition to a dense forest. They pursued a deer in the forest and were soon lost deep in the jungle. Feeling thirsty and hungry, they began to look for water, or at length they discovered a solitary wood apple. When the king tried to cut the apple, as luck would have it, the sword slipped from his hand and he cut off his finger. The king let out a piercing cry of pain. He was aghast when he saw the bleeding finger. The minister who came running asked the king, "What's the matter, your majesty?" The king pointed to his soft finger and the sword that lay on the ground. Picking up the sword, the advisor in his characteristic way was about to say his favorite statement. "So everything is for the best, isn't it?" asked the king ironically. The advisor was in calm as ever. "With due respect," he answered, "yes, your majesty, it may be a blessing in disguise, take it from me. Something good is going to come out of this apparent tragic incident. God has willed this, so we should not complain." The king couldn't believe what his advisor had said. He couldn't comprehend how the loss of his finger could be a blessing. The distraught king was sure his courtier was making fun of him. In his fury, the king ordered Pratap Singh out of his sight. Seeing that he had indeed enraged the king, Pratap Singh had no choice but leave the king alone. In his hunger and pain, the king fell into an uneasy sleep as he lay at the foot of a tree. So he was discovered by the tribesmen of the jungle who, in the last day of their great annual festival, was seeking a sacrificial victim for the tiger goddess. They were delighted to find such a handsome victim. They seized the king, bound his hands and feet, and carried him away. The warriors were in their colorful costumes with plumes and holding the spears upright in reverence to their royal prisoners. They marched to their chief's palace on stilts. The tribal soldiers presented their booty to the chief, who judged that the prisoner was indeed of royal blood. He was pleased with his minions' prize catch. He decided that blue blood would be an excellent offering to the supreme deity. Therefore, he sent for the tribal priest, an old man who came in soon afterwards. As was the custom, the tribal priest had to approve of all offerings to the deity. It was his duty to see that each offering was perfect in all respects, seeing that a king was going to be the object of sacrifice on that day. The priest did not inspect the prisoner from head to toe. Instead, he ordered that the process be started without delay. They took the king to their altar after some while dancing. The final sacrificial preparation began with the smearing of red and yellow powder over the victim's forehead, feet, and hands. However, it was during the anointing of the body that the old priest noticed that something was amiss. One of the fingers on the king's left hand was missing. She shook his head and said in the sonorous voice, "I'm sorry, Your Royal Highness. We cannot proceed with the sacrifice. The deity will accept only those who are whole bodied. The body should not have any blemish. The prisoner's body is imperfect and it is not fit for offering to deity." The tribesmen fled in horror, for they had nearly presented an imperfect sacrifice and feared the wrath of the goddess. As the king hobbled away as fast as his legs could carry him, he realized that the loss of his finger had indeed been for the best. But what of not having his minister's company at the time of danger was that for the best. Yes, said Pratap Singh later, for he had known of the king's peril, he would have come to the king had and been overcome by the numerous tribesmen, thus serving as a substitute victim. So everything was for the best after all. So it is the story of a king. So, my dear students, the chapter is in here. I hope you all are very well understand full chapter. So we will meet you the next class. Thank you, everyone.